So if you annex.
Right, I understand the school system,
the
but
review would bring the school.
But do we have to pay for
We
the
would have to
school?
pay for the school, of course.
So
Right.
that's the challenge.
we're not talking about,
Challenge.
right, none of the new cities would have new school systems because of the Constitution. But the property and the facility is something that we would have to have some kind of contractual, we have to buy or lease. So if the legislators decide to change the map and say it's all or nothing with this new map, that would completely change the equation for whether or not I would support annexation. Because if the new map grows the tax digest in a way that decreases per pupil local tax revenues, that would have a negative effect on a school system that is already experiencing lower per pupil tax revenues.
And that's what we take forward to the state legislators, is saying, you know, but the state legislators are looking at Decatur and saying, well, you all have a solid tax base, you have good schools. What are the needs of the surrounding areas? And so I think we really have to continue to say we recognize that, but our schools, without annexation, are looking at significant funding challenges.
Correct.
Significant funding challenges. And that was part of my conversation is, you know, we really are, the short term is going to be a huge hurdle, but the long term is going to be, I think, perhaps, yeah, it is not going to, it's going to be a really difficult hurdle to overcome in terms of funding.
It is this way, and when you're talking to your state legislatures, it's because they don't fund education. They're not funding the QBE formula. Decatur used to get 60-something% of its budget for the school system from the state. Now we get, what, 27%? 29%? Less than 30. And so more and more of that responsibility is on the backs of our residents because you value the services that we offer. You don't want to cut art, music, PE, Spanish. You don't want to get rid of these services. But we're going to be forced to do that if it continues to get worse and we continue to grow so much and we're not funded by the state.
Commissioner Kathy Gannon.
Okay. I came here today really to listen as a resident of Decatur. But as you're talking, it occurred to me as one of the problems that we're having in this whole thing is that all the elected officials are not at the table. I did not come here to represent DeKalb County, but it's a discussion all around and about DeKalb County, and they're the big elephant in the room, but yet they're not at the table. So I felt compelled just to stand up and add that voice to your discussions because it is a very complicated issue and it affects everybody in the entire county that we all live in. And there's a couple of things that aren't on the table. There's a lot of growth going on in Decatur that is not being discussed. They're talking about the growth coming in from annexation, but we're not talking about the growth from all of the building that we're doing right now, especially in downtown Decatur, where we are putting in 600 units this year, more than we've put in for 10 years. So there's that kind of thing going on that we as a city need to be looking at and working with our school board on doing that. And it's a real hard thing because the land grab has started, so everyone is grabbing. And everyone is grabbing the same property. But I will say on behalf of DeKalb County that one of the things we do is plan. And the Medline plan, that's a DeKalb County plan.
The city participated in that and helped fund it, I think.
No, they did not help fund it, but they did participate.
Because city
Can I take a
manager
moment?
Ramirez.
Well, I'm not kidding, but anyway, but that Medlock area includes a whole bunch of people that, thank you, a whole bunch of people who look at that area, the Medline area, as their neighborhood. That's their neighborhood that they have been working to make commercial to help them and to help DeKalb County and to help their school system, which is, as you know, suffering from financial issues as well as the county. but everyone is taking that commercial away to support their systems. So it's going on all over, whether it's Tucker in their neighborhood, whether it's Medlock. This is the nicest meeting I've been to, the ones in Avondale Estates. People on each side of the room are yelling at each other because some want to be annexed and a lot do not want to be annexed. And the same thing is happening all over DeKalb County with the new cities, because nothing has gone to the people yet. It's small committees and small groups of people talking about with the state, bypassing all of us at the local level, including the school boards, talking at the state level about where these boundaries are going to be based solely on who can divide up the commercial property. Our planning and zoning goals for the past 10+ years have been to increase commercial property in DeKalb County. Hopefully, we thought for the DeKalb County tax base, but of course it'll now be going into all kinds of city tax bases. And there is no good answer to it right now. And I know DeKalb County has a lot of serious issues that we are trying to deal with, but this land grab and nobody wants to be last and everything is out of our control because it's at the state level. And, you know, with all due respect, some of our state delegation does not have a grasp on local issues, whether it's school issues or county government issues. And that's a problem, but they make the rules, and now they're making up new rules to deal with this situation. So,
See you later.
thank you.
Can I make a comment?
Thank you.
Hang
Thank you. I
on, let me
appreciate
just-
that.
yeah, go
But I
ahead.
just
Just
think
go
we
ahead.
just all need to be in this together.
I'd like to make this has been a great session, by the way. Thank you so much for coming together. I'm the high school PTA president, have been for a couple of years, and I've got 4 kids in the system, older and still in the system. This is a big deal from a school system point of view. I mean, it's a big deal for a city of Decatur too, of course, for all the reasons we're talking about this, but the characters of our school system is very unique. We all know that. And we benefited from it greatly on our residential tax base. People want to buy expensive homes in Decatur and pay high taxes. And the city benefits from that. We all benefit from the willingness to have $1 million homes on small lots. Okay, that's Decatur. The school system, if we get to a high school with over 2,000 students, which we would get to with annexation, we'll get near it without annexation, but not quite. We might be able to maintain an intimate high school setting in an as-is mode. I'd like to make sure we plan the future of this with annexation, how to maintain an intimacy to every student in our school system. We have low-income families who need the attention of our staff and faculty to graduate, to go to college, and to succeed post-high school. If we become a mega high school, I worry about graduation rates dropping, I worry about loss of college applications, things that big high schools struggle with all over the state. That cannot happen to Decatur. That would be a real sad day if we become a mega high school and can no longer have that where the principal knows every student, knows the parents, knows the family stories.
But Eric, aren't we on a trajectory to hit that anyway?
I know the principal says
about
he
1600.
believes he can maintain the intimate setting we have now as is. We get to 1,600 students. He believes there's ways to maintain that intimate setting in the kind of Decatur community high school setting.
But there's, you know, the
So that's
problem,
just something to be aware of, is we're going to go over that line
right?
with annexation.
And the challenge just exacerbates with the more kids you have. I mean, certainly we're going to be approaching 2,000 kids without annexation. But, you know, the difference between 1,800 kids and 2,500 kids is a significant one. And you know, as we go through all these master planning meetings, which I know some of y'all have been to, I mean, we have neighborhood schools. And that's what's so unique about Decatur. They are literally schools nestled into neighborhoods. And so we can't just build story after story after story on top of Kings Highway or even McDonough, which is going down to 2 lanes. I mean, we just don't have the infrastructure to support that. And so if we're going to get bigger, we can't just look at the schools that we have. They are maxed out. We have to look at new real estate and building new schools and creating new opportunities for neighborhood schools.
And
We
I see
can't
that
keep
elementary
beating down the
schools-
same ones.
The high school is my question. See, one more elementary school or two could keep the same infrastructure at the local level. My question is really the high school.
Right.
We'd be talking about a second high school to avoid the problem I'm talking about.
Right.
That's a whole nother property issue then.
Well, and some of the things we've talked about too is, do we do a K-12 school, a special school or something like that, or a 7 through 12 school or something like that to kind of take the burden. I mean, we're going to have to do some creative thinking here and consider, changing the structure, adding new structures in order to accommodate all of the kids. But I just don't think it's even worth debating continuing to talk about the existing schools that we have. That's just not going to be enough to accommodate the kids that we have coming in, particularly with annexation.
My concern is with the numbers that we have.